We're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Shining bright like a diamond.
Welcome everyone today to Brand Omnipresence. I'm doing this call this morning on just a few hours of sleep because last night we were up working hard getting this all put together for what we're about to launch today. And I'm just beyond excited because this program is the culmination of my entire life's work, finally in a program that is available to the general population. And I've worked with people for many, many years now, helping build incredible brands all around the world. My clients are politicians, people who have become New York Times bestselling authors. I work with speakers, coaches, entrepreneurs. I absolutely love working with entrepreneurs. So I want to congratulate you for being here today. I was telling some of the callers this morning that I booked this a week ago, not realizing that I put 9 a.m. down. And I know for some of you calling in from other parts of the country, it's probably still very early in your neck of the woods. And so I commend you for being here this morning because I really do believe that 90% of success really comes down to just showing up. And so often in life, if people just showed up and didn't make excuses, they'd be so much further along. And I know if you think like me, you believe that as well. So again, a huge congratulations to all of you for being here. So we're going to move ahead to slide number 2 now. And I'm going to tell you the slides that we're moving into as we move along here on the call. And if you don't have the slides in front of you, don't worry. That's okay. You can just follow along with me. But you're one of millions who decided to take decisive action and be here today. And like I said, and like you've probably seen me post many times on Facebook, that when you make a decision, you activate the universe on your behalf. The universe now has a chance to go to work for you. And activating a decision is as simple as making your mind up, writing it down on a piece of paper, showing up like you did this morning, taking a decisive action to take the next step. And so often I work with a lot of people in the multi-level marketing industry. And one of the things that I believe helps them to take real decisive action is putting names on a list. Putting names on a list of people who you want to do business with. And in my world, when that name goes on a list, it's as good as done because I know that the universe is going to conspire on my behalf to make it all come together. So again, I commend you for being here because you are really one of many, many millions who decided to take action today. Now, on the third slide, I have a quote about decisive action that I truly love, and that is, successful people take decisive action. They don't overthink everything. Rather, they trust their gut. When they are presented with an opportunity that answers their greatest challenge, they say yes to it immediately, knowing that it was divinely given. They don't hesitate. They don't delay. They know that it's because the opportunity was presented, it was meant to be. This is the one universal characteristic that makes them successful and helps them create results that astound all others around them. And again, you're already 10 steps ahead of the rest because you're here today. I reward decisive action. So as I told you in all of the promo material leading up to today, that I was going to give away a seat in my new Brand Omnipresence Bootcamp, and I can't wait to do that. I wish I could do it right now because I love giving stuff away, but I'm going to do it all the way at the end of the call when I get done. So stay tuned. You may be one of the lucky people that wins a seat in this new program. So on slide number 5, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. You all know I'm Kelly Keisha, branded the Brand Recoder, and I'll tell you what that means here in just a little bit. But basically, I specialize in personal branding. That's my area of expertise. And so what I do is I help to illuminate who you are, build you up outside of your company, and help you stand out far away from the competition, or as I refer to, the herd. So kind of think of yourself as a pink cow in a huge herd of black cows. And you can't help but overlook the pasture and see that one pink cow standing out as the only pink cow in the field. Well, I want you guys to be that pink cow. I want you to be that illuminating diamond in the rough, that when people see or hear about your name or see you or feel your presence, they know exactly who you are, what you do, what you stand for, and what your magnificent brilliance is that you're adding to the world. All of that comes from branding. Branding enables people to know who you are and make a decision on whether or not they want to work with you or be in relationship with you based on your brand. It eliminates the need for you to have to go out and tell people who you are and what you do. And as you find that when you start building your brand, you're going to have to do less and less networking or have to go out less and less to convince people to do business with you because your brand does the work for you. So I'm just a 40-year-old mom of 4 children who leads a very busy life just like you probably do, going out there, building my business, looking to change the world, always looking to add value to the world by first working on myself and then using that as a vehicle to go out and do the things that I want to do in the world. What do? I add value each and every day. So I wake up every day and I look for ways that I can shower people with value. And in turn, putting that value out to the universe brings value back and adds value to my own life. And I do that through branding and a lot of the coaching programs that I offer. On slide number 7, Brand Recoder is my nickname. And we're going to talk about nicknames today, but let me give you the definition.
She blazes a trail for her clients by utilizing her proprietary methods of decoding their passions, life story, adversities, values, and career path, and recodes them into a highly recognizable and undeniably unique brand that combines their expertise with their soul gravity. Charged with her superior street smart savvy, intuitive nature, and extensive expertise, the Brand Recoder is well programmed to take an unknown woman entrepreneur from obscurity to worldwide omnipresence, enabling them to own their world. It's so very important that you have a third party write your Chickapedia definition, which, by the way, is our own version of Wikipedia for women, so that it can be written in a way that powerfully represents you coming from someone else.
Very few people can truly articulate what they do into a concise message. So it's so very important that your brand emulates all of that for you. And here's the bottom line, because I'm a very bottom line kind of person. You should not be out there killing yourself and struggling to find business. Your brand should be doing the heavy lifting for you. Okay, so the purpose of a brand is that you don't have to go out there and convince the world, this is who I am, this is what I do. Your brand should do the work for you. Why personal branding on slide number 10? Because when you are the brand, you have no competition. So please understand me here. Yes, there is competition everywhere, but I focus specifically on personal branding around you, the individual, because when you are the brand, you have no competition. There's only one you. Nobody can duplicate you. And it's time to start being proud of who you are and put that out to the world. And sometimes I know that's easier said than done because I've spent my entire life getting over my limiting beliefs so that I could be out there in front of the world in a powerful way. And it hasn't been that long for me. It's probably been about 6-7 years that I decided to take the plunge and start going out there and putting myself out to the world. But I can tell you, it was a very big challenge for me. For so many years, I hid behind my companies. I hid at my events. I didn't want anybody to know who I was at networking events that I was hosting. I wouldn't even stand up and say that I was the president of the organization. I just was that introverted and that afraid to share my magnificence with the world. Why? Because I had limiting beliefs that I wasn't good enough. No one would want to listen to me. If people associated me with my company, they weren't going to want to do business with me. All stupid little stories that we tell ourselves each and every day. I was that person, and it took work. It takes work to change your mindset, but I'm committed to that work, and I include that work in every one of my trainings because if you don't have the proper mindset, you can't possibly go on to be successful in business. So on slide number 11, what is brand omnipresence? It is the end result of being fully branded where one is recognized specifically and strategically in a targeted niche with full authenticity and relatability combined with a powerful magnetic message and movement that transcends all geographical boundaries. It means you are at all places. Omnipresent means that you are everywhere. And when you're omnipresent, again, you don't have to do the work. People come up to you and say, I've heard of you. They write you messages, emails. You get phone calls. I've heard of you. I want to find out how I can work with you. I get those calls every day. And I'm not saying that to boast. I'm just saying that it's the reason why you don't see me at too many networking events here in my local area. If you know me here locally, It's because my brand does the work for me, and that's what I want for you more than anything. On slide number 12, I want to define what top of mind means so that you understand that when someone thinks of branding, they think of me. Laura, when they think of scuba diving, they think of you. Angela, when they think of mapping and putting together a strategic plan, they think of you and only you. That is what top of mind means. It means when word of mouth trumps your advertising and marketing efforts. When the buzz is out there so big, that is what trumps any kind of effort that you could do on your own to get your message out there. I actually wrote an article about this on my blog, 3 telltale signs on how to know if you've reached top of mind status in your niche. I encourage you to go there at kellykeisha.com at some point and read that article. How else do you know that you're top of mind? Is when your name becomes synonymous with your niche area of expertise. So when people think brand, they think me. And I'm constantly working on that all the time. And then when your brand becomes infectious, meaning that you get messages, phone calls, emails, I want to work with you, because people just know that you're the person to work with in that niche. That's what top of mind means. Slide number 13, people who have an omnipresent brand do not have to speak about their greatness. Their brand does all the work for them. So imagine all the time you'd have left in your day if you didn't have to constantly go out and find business. This is one of the reasons why I don't like brick and mortar businesses, because it paralyzes people. They end up sitting there in a store waiting for people to come to them. You don't want to have to wait. You want the work being done for you by your brand ambassadors and by your brand. And I teach you how to build brand ambassadors that will go out and bird dog your business and do the work for you. So on slide number 14, you see a graphic here of a shelf filled with different wine bottles. And think about it for a second. The last chance a wine maker, a wine manufacturer has to get your attention is the label. But really, all of the work goes into building the brand of that wine before the bottle ever even hits the shelf. Because yes, labels are important, but it shouldn't have to come down to me just picking a nice label to want to buy a bottle of wine. I should know about you ahead of time, somehow, some way, through your brand. There should be conversation about your brand. There should be messaging that attracts me to that brand, so that when I finally get to the shelf, I'm simply looking for that brand, not shopping by label. And I love the quote on slide number 15 that I was given just the other day. And that is, the lesser the wine, the better a label it requires, meaning that the lesser the brand, the more important it is to have a label. Okay? So please understand that. You don't want to be the obscure bottle of wine on the shelf crying, please pick me. You want people to walk in there into that store very powerfully, knowing already who they're going to pick, and that's you. So kind of liken yourself to a diamond. This is how I go about building a brand. I'm going to explain this to you in a little bit more detail before I deliver these 10 facets to you today. So you are a diamond. And in diamond manufacturing, diamonds have anywhere from 58 facets, where it began back in 1919, 58 facets, all the way now up to 90-some facets. So over the years, diamond makers have found ways to incorporate many more facets into a diamond, therefore increasing its brilliance. So what I've done is I've actually now discovered, put into a proprietary system 69 different facets that I use to brand my clients. That's how intricate this is. See, a lot of times people call me on the phone and they say, Kelly, I need a logo. I want to build my brand. Can you help me? Or they need a logo and a tagline. And I'm here to tell you today that that's not the work that I do. I don't make logos. The work that I do enables you to take your report, your brand evaluation, to your graphic designer and get a logo done. But you need to have a brand before you get a logo done. So it's the preliminary work that I do that leads up to you getting a logo done, but I don't do the actual work of creating a logo. And a logo is only one of 69 facets that go into a brand. So why do I liken you to a diamond? Well, one of the reasons is because many of you haven't been dusted off in a while. And a diamond, when an obscure brand, when I begin working with them, is a kind of a diamond in the rough that hasn't been touched in a very long time. So what I get to do is I get the job of dusting off each and every facet And every time a new facet is dusted off, a new area of light, inner light, is revealed to the world. Think about this. Not everyone is going to relate to one or two facets on your diamond, right? If there's 69 points, people may find that out of the 69, there's 5 or 6 that they relate to with regard to you. So we use all those facets to create points of relatability so that your audience potentially can find a way to connect with you. And believe it or not, most people today aren't connecting by way of business. They're connecting in many other ways, and I'm going to go through those here in a second. But many of you are hiding behind your company brands. You've been playing small. You've been paralyzed in fear because our rapidly changing marketplace, and you're just not sure what to do next to grow your business and bottom line. How do I know this? Because I was you. Afraid to be me, scared that people would reject me, and that I would have to say to myself that I didn't matter. But what you and many don't realize is that your brand has value and will attract many more clients and more money to you once it's established. So I hope that you've gotten that point by now. Slide number 17. Deep inside every diamond is a magnificent light just waiting to emerge and shine through the many facets that surround it. You are that diamond. So it's time to dust off each facet one by one and bring forth your brilliance to the world. So here we go. Here's the meat and potatoes of the training today. I'm going to deliver to you the first 10 facets of the 69 facets so you can begin to go to work understanding how you're going to build your brand brick by brick. Facet number 1, your passions. It is one of the first things that I uncover with my clients. Passions are a great way to connect with people. If I'm passionate about dogs, or I'm passionate about cooking, or cats, or skydiving, or entertaining, I know that by sharing those passions with the world, I am going to attract a lot of fabulous people who share those same passions. Again, I am much more likely to attract people by sharing my passions with them than sharing my business with them. And if you've ever gone on Facebook and posted something about your passion, you've probably gotten a lot of responses, right? But then go ahead and post something about your business, and all you hear is crickets. No one responds. So it's very important to use your passions and leverage them into your brand to create a real big point of relatability with your potential prospect. You know, a lot of times we often see people out there who are figureheads, strong business leaders, but we know nothing about them. And then we see a picture of their dog, or we see them playing with their kids, or we see them going out there doing things in a big way like Richard Branson skydiving, and we say, oh my gosh, I want to be just like him. We don't care about his business. We admire him, the person. This is where this facet becomes so important in your business. So if you're not out there putting your passions out to the world, I call it passion branding, showing the world what you love to do in a real big way, then you're missing a very important component of your brand. Let's move on to facet number 2. Actually, it's facet number 6. We're skipping a few here. Facet number 6 is adversities. Now, I know this is an area that may be very uncomfortable for some of you, but I always say this. Your battle scars are your brand. Wear them like a badge of honor. Let me say that again in case you want to write that down. Your battle scars are your brand. Wear them like a badge of honor. You would be amazed at how many people will relate to you because you fell down and skinned your knees the same way that they did. I've been speaking now for almost 20 years, and I can't begin to tell you how many people have come to me and said, you must have gotten so much training as a kid to be able to do this so well as you do. And what you really don't understand is that I began speaking in my early 20s. It had to be one of the most difficult learning curves I've ever had in my entire life. So much so that I would hide in the bathroom, throw up, cry, even passed out at one point before I had to deliver a message for my network marketing company that I started when I was in my early 20s. I was pushed into that position of speaking by my mentor. It was not something I voluntarily did, and I painstakingly made my way through it the first year, watched myself on video, worked hard to correct the things that I did wrong. But let me tell you, it was a very, very difficult job to undertake, and one I will never forget because it had to be, again, one of the most difficult things I ever did in my life. And that's why I'm training my children now to speak, because I don't want them to have to go through what I went through. But I teach people that, and I talk about that in my story because people need to know that you didn't just arrive there one day as the expert that you are. That you had to fall down and skin your knees. And if you track back your life story, and if I help you track it back, we're probably going to uncover that what you do for a living today leads back to some adversity that you have. I was at my mentor's training a couple of weeks ago. Susan Somerset Webb did a training called Burst Your Bank Account. And in that training, we had to uncover some of our deepest fears. And one of my deepest fears is about getting lost. So much so that I don't get into my car a whole lot. I'm very much a homebody, partially because I love to be, but the other part is because I've been working on a fear that I've had for a very long time of getting lost. And many of you know I was adopted and have spent my life working through abandonment issues. And a lot of times I think that fear comes from that just fear of being lost from having been abandoned as a baby. So when I started to think about it at her training, having that fear of being lost and wanting to make sure I stand out so I don't get lost, it all of a sudden clicked to me that this is the reason why I'm in the business I'm in today. Because not only do I not want to get lost, I don't want you to get lost. So if we track back some of the things that you've done in your life that have been not so fun at the time or you've gone through, we're probably going to find that it relates to somehow what you're doing for a living today, and your audience needs to see that. Facet number 9, a branded nickname. I'm sure you've seen all of the many clients I've branded today because I parade them all throughout my Facebook page. I'm so proud of all of them. All of them have a branded nickname. Why? Because it helps your audience further pinpoint what you do. It's just one more facet that pinpoints exactly what you do. And your name doesn't tell them, your personal name doesn't tell them what you do, but your nickname enables you to reinforce that this is exactly what I do. It makes you more recognizable. People may remember Linda McClement, the Healing Doctress, before they remember Linda McClement. I love that nickname, the Healing Doctress, because it just so exemplifies all that she does. It also gives you an inherent expertise because you have a distinctive brand name. Band-Aids aren't just adhesive bands, they're Band-Aids. That's the brand name. And now that brand name is used across the world. We don't say adhesive bandages, we say Band-Aids. Okay, so you want people to recognize you by that brand name, and it's just, again, one more way to reinforce your expertise, who you are, and what you do. Moving along now, we're going to go to facet number 18. This is so fun. I love doing this. Articles. Now, I know this is a big one for a lot of you because writing, again, was another area that I just absolutely convinced myself that I was not good at, did not want to do, was not going to make a part of my business. I just was convinced I wasn't doing it. And so for many years, I partnered with people who were good writers. And then I realized I didn't like having business partners. So I was going to have to figure out a way to do this on my own. And now more than ever, writing is so critical because conversation is the new marketing. You've got to be creating ongoing conversation in order for your brand to get out there in a big way. And so what I love about articles is that they have far-reaching tentacles. Google can pick up on every single word in your article and attach it to your brand. So you're going to see that your Google ranking goes up tremendously, and the amount of Google listings that you have multiplies because articles enable your website to continue to ever grow far beyond the few pages that you originally created. So again, far-reaching tentacles, but it also reinforces your expertise. There are so many times when people call me, they want to learn about what I do, and they have a few questions, and I go ahead and refer them to a particular article that I've written on the top questions that I get. So great articles for you to start with are simply on the top questions you get in your area of business. So if people are asking you the same question all the time, write an article about that, because by answering that question in your article, you then enable them to want to take the next step with you to get your help in what they need, right? But again, most importantly, it creates ongoing conversation. Articles don't just end when you end the article. There usually are links at the bottom that enable you to add your comments and feedback, which continues the conversation over and over again. And I talk about that more in my Magnetic Money Wheel. But in my new boot camp, I'm going to show you how to truly leverage articles all over the web so that you can have them working on your behalf 24/7. Facet number 27, affiliations. This is kind of a little abstract for some of you, and I want to explain what I mean by affiliation so that you understand that everything you do gets attached to your brand. Everything you eat, everything you say, your attitude, everything gets attached to your brand. And yes, you can put your stake in the ground and say, this is who I am, this is what I do. But a lot of branding comes from the general population figuring out who you are because you haven't established a brand. So you're basically leaving it up to them to figure out. And you definitely don't want to do that. But they figure it out a lot of times through your affiliations. Now, some of you may keep your religion in your back pocket and not put that out there, and that's completely okay. I'm not telling you that you need to or you don't need to. But look at Tim Tebow as an example. He put out there in a big way in his football career that he was a Christian. Many of you know that he bowed down and prayed before the games, throughout the games, put a lot of biblical verses on his body, put it out there in a big way that he was a Christian. And as a result, his brand exploded out there. Would you know Tim Tebow otherwise if he didn't do that and take that very bold step? Absolutely not, probably, because there's lots of NFL players out there that are great, but he took a stand in a big way. Now, a lot of times people say to me, well, if I take a stand and say I'm a Christian, then I'm going to alienate all the other religions that could potentially be my clients. And you know what? That very well may be true. But I believe in life, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. People like certainty. They want to know. And yes, you may eliminate some people by taking that stand. You're also going to garner a lot more clients in your corner because they know that you're serious about that particular affiliation that you have, and they're serious about it too. So I'm not telling you one way or the other to use religion. I'm just saying that to be one more facet under the affiliation facet that can help brand you in a way strategically to the people that you want to work with. If you're Jewish and you want to work only with Jews, then you're going to want to put that out there in a big way. Hopefully you understand that point. Business affiliations. You all have business affiliations, things that you affiliate yourself with in business. They get attached to your brand. Some of you are sports fans. I'm not a big sports fan, but I will forever be an Eagles fan because I'm from the Atlantic City, Philadelphia area. And if you live in that area, you automatically are an Eagles fan. So even though I live in Florida, I am inherently an Eagles fan. So if I put that out there, I am going to garner support and friendship from all the other Eagles fans out there. Okay, moving along. Facet number 47, the people you keep company with. This is a big one. I can't tell you how often I get phone calls from people who say to me, I'm interested in hiring this person as a speaker, or I'm interested in your thoughts on this person. And then inevitably what comes up next is, but I don't understand why they're so closely affiliated with so-and-so, because that person just doesn't seem to be credible in my eyes. Everyone who you keep company with will be attached to your brand. The places that you go and network with, the places you go and hang out, the people you surround yourself, all become part of your brand. Very, very important here. Not only the old adage that you become the 5 people that you hang around most. Of course, we all know that's very important, but understand the impact of who you hang around and how it relates to your brand, how the impact that it has on your brand. So the people you keep company with, you know, it's important to keep the friends that you have because you love them, but it's also important to be conscious, just on a business level, of how that plays into your brand overall. And again, there's so much more to teach on every one of these facets, but I'm trying to be true with the time that I promised you I would be done today. So I'm giving you just the basic watered down clip notes here. Facet number 51, visual imagery. You will see that with everything that I launch, there is visual imagery that goes along with it. And I have the most incredible graphic designer, Sabrina Fajardo, that I work very closely with. She's also known as the entrepreneur's artisan. She is truly an artistic talent that has second to none abilities, unlike anything I've ever seen. But when I get a concept together or I'm building a brand for a client, I immediately put the brand analysis together and then hand it over to her to do her magic. She creates the visual imagery that goes with every brand concept that I create. So yes, I have my personal brand, as you do as well, or maybe you don't as well, but then I have the brand concepts that I create for the programs, events, books, seminars, those types of things that also have their own brands. And as you can see, the visual imagery that goes with brand omnipresence is diamonds. So every time you think of pink diamonds, you're going to think then of brand omnipresence. Okay, so really important to kind of think about how visual imagery works with your brand and what anchors you're using to enable people to remember exactly who you are, what you do, and the things that you love. I love pink and I love diamonds. And many people know that pink is very much a part of my brand. And on any given day, you're going to see on Facebook, people post beautiful pink things on my wall because they know that I love that. So that's just one more point of connection that I have with my friends and followers. Okay, the next one, facet number 52, is terminology. You cannot have a stellar, top-of-mind, omnipresent brand without creating your own personal, trademarkable, intellectual property terminology. I have dozens of trademarks. I use only unique terminology with all of my clients. You can't look up the word recoder in the dictionary because it doesn't exist. So if you create a word and you see the little red spell check line come underneath of it, then you know you're doing good in the world of branding, because we don't want to use common terms. We want to create our own. And of course, when we create our own terminology, we then have to define it by creating our own definition. Well, every time you create terminology and then define it, you're then giving your prospects one more chance to understand a little bit better who you are and what you do. So I love unique terminology. I love creating that for my clients. I love to see their faces light up when there's something new that they can attach to their brand that they've never thought of on their own. So what do you think about ways that you can create unique terminology within your brand? And again, in the boot camp, we're going to be doing this specifically with you one-on-one. Facet number 59, your brand promise. On the back of my business cards is my brand promise. Everywhere you go, you'll see my brand promise. In every program that I offer, you'll see a brand promise. And that is, give me 1 hour and I will create a brand, business, or product uniquely for you, guaranteed, or your money back. That's just one, that's my main brand promise. That's the umbrella one. But then for every program that I offer a brand promise. So what can you offer within a couple of minutes, within a few hours, within a few days that someone completely can change their business or world with your expertise? A brand promise is a very important facet because it guarantees to the client exactly what you're going to be doing for them. And it's a promise that now you get to deliver on, and I'm big on deliverables. People want to know that you're going to deliver something tangible to them if they're going to work with you. And that's what a brand promise does. It locks in that commitment that this is what I'm going to do for you if you work with me. So it's something I want you all to take some time and think about today. Just kind of jot it down on a piece of paper. But I can tell you that the day I started using my brand promise, my entire business completely changed because my mentality changed because I had so much more certainty that now people were able to understand much more precisely what I did. And the last facet is facet number 68 that we're going to cover today, which is props. Props are things that become synonymous with your brand. Pink diamonds are synonymous with my brand. My mentor and client also, Susan Somerset Webb, uses the dragonfly in every bit of her marketing. You see the dragonfly everywhere. It has specific meaning to her. It has specific meaning to her brand. But you cannot help see a dragonfly and not think of her. Everywhere I go, when I see a dragonfly, she is top of mind to me. So one more facet or point of relatability that enables me to remember her. My husband, Cliff, wears a uniform. He's the video sergeant. He wears a uniform that is a sergeant's uniform. That's his prop. I have another friend who uses a hamster in all of her talks, and that is part of her brand prop. So what can you use in your talk, in your branding, in your videos, in your messages, on your Facebook, on your website that pinpoint that prop to your brand? Something else to really think about today. So we're coming to a close here now, and I know that I've shared a lot of information with you today. There's so much more to share, but this is just a great start for you to sit down today and grab your journal, start jotting some of these concepts down for yourself, and really start to put your head around how you can incorporate these 10 facets into your business immediately. And you know what? I encourage you, go certainly try them on your own, but I would love to have the opportunity to help you incorporate them step by step into your brand. So let me tell you about what the next steps are today, because you know that I put this call together this morning to not only give away a seat in my new program, but to get your wheels turning about brand omnipresence, and to give you an opportunity, a much requested opportunity to work with me in a very close knitted group to help you establish your brand. See, I didn't realize that there was such a big demand out there until I kind of added up all the requests over the years of people asking me to make something affordable, because my minimum contract for a personal client is $10,000. That's what it costs to start with me, to start building a brand from the ground floor up. And then my Diamond Leadership Program is over $20,000, which is a year-long program where we do a lot of this stuff step by step in a very close-knit format, but very strategically over the long period of time, where I can hold everybody accountable to each step, every step of the way. So today we revealed 10 of the 59 facets that it takes to build an omnipresent brand, but there are still 59 left to unveil. And my question to you is, are you ready to take decisive action today and allow your brand to shine its infinite light upon the world? I know each and every one of you are on this call today because you have a desire to make a change, or you wouldn't be here today. It's simply that simple. You've already activated the universe to work on your behalf. Now you just have to follow your inner guidance to take you to the next step. Today I'm going to be launching, and we were up all night last night putting up the website. In fact, I recorded my video last night at 10 o'clock for you this morning, the Brand Omnipresence Bootcamp. I am so thrilled that I'm going to get to work with a lot of you outside of my own geographical area here in Florida. This is the first time ever that I'm doing an online boot camp for 8 weeks. Unbelievable content, unbelievable hand-holding, masterminding with other women and men who share the same desires that you do. And let me tell you something, if you've never been part of a mastermind, that in of itself offers incredible value to you as a business person, because not only will you form lifelong friendships, but you'll be a part of that mastermind for the rest of your life. In that, every time you go ahead and get ready to launch something, you can now run it by your team in a way that you've never done it before. And I do not launch anything without the guidance and feedback of the people that I surround myself with, my mentors and my coaches. Why? Because that's just what strong business people do. They don't just go out there haphazardly, fly by the seat of their pants, and just go launching programs and things like that. They do it very strategically. So in this 8-week Omnipresent Bootcamp, we're going to spend 2 hours together each and every Tuesday evening for 8 weeks, going over all the different facets of your brand, but more importantly, very strategically working on the facets that are most important to get you business growth right now. And you're going to learn more about that here in just a few seconds. But leaders take decisive action. I talked to you about that earlier on the call today, and you're here today. That's the first step. The second step is taking decisive action by deciding that you're going to move forward and take my hand. I'm going to take your hand, and we're going to walk this road together. So before I tell you what that next step looks like, I'm going to go ahead and share with you my last slide, which I just posted on Facebook this morning because I love it so much. I want you to go forth today and live your life on purpose. Stop just waking up in the morning, going out there and just doing what you think you're supposed to do for that day. Don't just think. Don't just try. I want you to do it purposefully. I want you to have a plan of action to go ahead, build your life, and build your business around your life, not the other way around. I want you to have a life first and foremost. And by having a life means that you have a business that runs on autopilot. Allow your brand to do the heavy lifting for you. So don't try anymore. There is no try. There's only yes or no, do or don't. So with that being said, I want to thank you for getting on the call today. I'm about ready to launch the seat that I'm going to give away. And I'm going to do that by picking a telephone number out of all the telephone numbers of everyone that's on the call. So I want you to hang on for a second. While I'm doing that, I want you to write this down. brandomnipresence.com. And when we get on the call today, you're going to go to brandomnipresence.com, and you're going to see this class is being sold for $497. We've already pre-sold 12 seats into the program. It's part of a much larger package, what we've already pre-sold. So this class is one of many that are in the package that's coming to those who have pre-bought it. But for you today, for getting on the call, there's a very, very special price that you're going to see when you go to my website. You're going to see the price reflected at $497. But after you watch the video and click on the link, you're going to see that because you were on the call today and took decisive action, you are going to be the first to get this boot camp at $297. Now, please write this down. We are only offering 7 seats into this boot camp at that price. So 7 seats or 24 hours, we have the time clock set for whichever comes first, and then the price will revert to the regular price because we have not even launched this to our list today. This was just a soft launch on Facebook. I have not emailed anybody, and if you're on my list, you know you did not get an email about this. We haven't even launched this.
Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Shining bright like a diamond. We're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. Shine bright like a diamond.